I'm a big believer in monetizing a lot of different things. Like,
what about the community at large that's aging? Do you focus any of your efforts towards the senior or the prime community?
Community, connection, encourage. That's what today's episode is all about. Dre Madden, CMO at Real, sits down with Michele Bellisari, founder of SoooBoca and creator of the Prime Midlife Agent Collective. Michele has built a career out of reinvention, proving that age and experience are a superpower in this industry. Together, they explore how seasoned agents can adapt, innovate, and thrive in a business that never stops changing. Let's get into it.
Hello, Miss Michele Bellisari. How are you?
I am awesome, Dre. How are you? We're at polar opposites of the country.
And you can see how we're dressed slightly different. Although, like the Bay Area is just started raining over the last 2 days, so I had to bust out one of my little sweaters. And I know that you were going to be wearing your hot pink today, so
Always in hot pink, and I'm always a little warm. I guess that's a little midlifey thing. So it's perfect. There you go.
Oh my goodness. So great. Well, I am so happy to see you here, and so happy to be able to talk. I remember we met 3 years ago when I started at Real, and you have been such a champion of the brand and a champion of real estate and a champion of the prime audience that I'm just so happy to talk about Prime and talk about what we're here for today. But I thought I would start by you are so excited. So I thought we would start by just telling us a little bit about you. Like not everybody knows you or me. And so it might be a great start to like tell us about you and how you started your career and where you're at now.
I can definitely do that. And yes, I remember when we met and it was so much fun, so exciting. We have so many great things happening at Real, and I came on in 2021. So it's been fun to see where we were and now where we are, and big news today, where we're going with some of the things in Real Wallet. So super excited.
Oh, yeah.
Ties in really well with this conversation and the prime audience, which is the new group we've started at Real for midlife and older agents. So who am I? I am a mom of two beautiful girls. They're my adult children, Allie and Kylie. They're kind of my sounding board. I love them to death. Married for, I think, 36 years next week. Who knew? And I've been in real estate since 2003. Before that, I was in pharmaceuticals with Novavax, Pfizer, Warner Lambert, and Menon. So consumer health products and pharma and niche products, along with big niche products like Listerine, Lubriderm, Schick razors. I think you and I have a lot in common with the types of brands that we've worked with. They were not teeny tiny brands, you know. And real estate just seemed like a really great segue for me in the early 2000s. So, you know, I've been with Real, like I said, for 2021, and it's just excited about all the things that are happening here.
Gosh, what agent count was it then?
It was under 2,000. I always say, I kind of came up with this number. I'm agent 1564, and everybody's like, how do you know your number? I'm like, I don't know my number. I just freaking made it up.
Love. And you actually run SoooBoca. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, you know, I have always loved social media. From the moment it came out, Facebook came out and all of the platforms, and having my daughters being the ages that they were with, especially like 2014, 2015 Instagram and stuff, it was awesome having that because they would be doing Snapchat and I would be getting mad at them for snapping me. And I'd be like, hey, stop doing that. And they're like, you actually need an account. And then they're like, could you please leave Snapchat? You're driving us crazy. Which is actually how I met some of the people that are at Real now, the Massive Agent. We were all friends on Snapchat,
which a lot of people may
not know. Yes, we all knew each other. There's quite a few of us at Real now, and we all knew each other from Snapchat. So I was driving along one day, and somebody cut me off, very typical here in Boca, and I said, that cut me off, and that's SoooBoca. And Kylie said, Mom, you got a tagline there. I said, oh yeah, I'll just exit out the expletive. And so it kind of made it kind of tongue in cheek, S3O's Boca. I trademarked it. I have a blog, Instagram. I do some brand collaborations. I love to showcase my community. I think I really was one of the first ones out there really showcasing back in like 2016, 17, 18. And I've just been slowly like growing. It was kind of like a passion project, but now I'm monetizing it. I'm a big believer in monetizing a lot of different things. Like we all have a course in us and we all have some extra talent, right? And as you get older, you start looking at some of these things because you're a little more tired. You don't have the same necessarily drive and energy. So it's always nice to have other things you can tap into, which Reel lets us do beautifully, by the way.
But hasn't SoooBoca helped you with your overall, like having your own brand has helped you in real estate overall, I would assume.
I'm going to point to my pal, Glenda Baker, who was speaking at a Tom Ferry Roadshow event on stage. And she said, and we all met in Clubhouse. So back during COVID, we met in Clubhouse. And yeah, isn't that crazy? And yes, it's still a thing for some of us. And she was on stage talking about branding. And she goes, for example, my friend SoooBoca in the back of the room. I don't even know her last name. I started laughing. Well, she knows my last name. She goes, I know her last name. But the thing with SoooBoca, what's happened is it really aligned me as the go-to person in Boca, about Boca, especially for real estate. I've been here almost 50 years, believe it or not. I came here in high school. And so I love where I live. I love showcasing the community. And that's what I really, I get referrals based on that. People will be like, oh, well, the person who knows Boca Raton and South Florida really well is Michele Bellisari. So that's really, I kind of fell into it. It wasn't meant to be a real estate lead generator, but here we are,
So great. And now, and you have always said to me, even starting 3 years ago, you've said, I've got my niche, Dre, and I want to make sure we represent it at Reel. And not because it's mine, but because it represents so many of our agents and the community at large. It's just sticking around in real estate, getting older. There's a lot of, I want to bring it to like where we are today and how it hasn't changed, but where your passion project is for Prime.
Okay. So first of all, I have to thank you and Tamir, Clayton, and team. Libby's one of them as well, for hearing me and listening to me. And, when this came about, just really about a month or so ago, really, I had been talking about the fact that we know the National Association of Realtors, stats are the average agent, depending on what you're reading, is between 57 and 59, and 62 to 63% are women. So you've got a huge group of people in this industry, whether they're part-time or they do one deal a year or whatever, who are 50 plus. I'm certainly way past 50 plus at this point. But one of the things that I noticed was the prime agents were falling into some of the cracks of either not understanding AI, not wanting to do video, not learning things, or they weren't being tapped into for the talent that they bring to the table. But they're very productive agents, clearly. They have teams. Many of them are bringing in their children. So now we've got the prime group, and then we've got the young professional group, which is fantastic. And so I felt like there was a really great opportunity to host a group called Prime Midlife Agent Collective, and where we have a space to talk about how we're doing our business, old school versus new school, because we should always continue learning. It's healthy for our brains. It's healthy for our psyche. And the biggest concerns that the, prime agents have is, being invisible, feeling like they have a lot of competition from younger agents. Look, there's always going to be competition. So you have to figure out how to stand out from the crowd. And what can help a prime agent is experience. I just told you my vast experience, if you call it vast, with pharma and consumer health products. How do you segue that into your real estate business? And sometimes agents, we get so deep in our business, we forget, I had this skill and I had this skill. And how can you blend that into video? And how can you learn about Google my business and, all of these pieces. So that's really what the premise is to make sure that these agents are not left behind and that
More empowered, right? More
yeah,
given. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
and
you're
being
right. Like,
heard.
you particularly embrace technology when
Yes.
it's new and dive in the deep end, but I wouldn't say that's the general norm for
No.
the age range or the demographic. And so here you want to get a group of people together that can all collaborate and feel empowered and not embarrassed and not taken back, but you're kind
And
of
if you
collecting.
are afraid, that's okay because we're going to help you through it.
Exactly.
I would say my Clubhouse crew, 5 years we've been on there. We are that prime group. And when I tell you, we have high level conversations that would probably blow people's minds. We feel very comfortable and confident in what we're doing because we share and we teach and we learn from each other. And I think one of the aspects of it is, oh, that person's like my chapter, third chapter, whatever it is. I'm more comfortable learning from
Yeah.
that. But I also want to learn from, as I always say, I'm like, it works both ways, guys. You can't bash on millennials and stuff because thank God for them. And I did a podcast about that like 5 years ago. I'm like, thank God for millennials. I love them. If it wasn't for my millennials, I would never have done all the stuff on social media that I've done.
Well,
Right.
I
So we
love
have to
now.
be kind.
Now you have this group that is the Prime members, right? That is now starting to grow. It's on
Yes.
community.onereal.com. What about the community at large that's aging? Do you focus any of your efforts towards the senior or the Prime community that's looking for making a change in their
Yeah.
life and downgrading their home, moving to a different place? Like, where does that come in,
Yeah.
or is it strictly for agents?
No, honestly, the conversation is really across the board. Like we have another meetup today, and I have quite a nice agenda, which really goes through some of the things we've just talked about, but then also what's going to work for you in your business right now. So, I remember when I got my license, and all of the seasoned agents, they were not running around with buyers at the same level that they did like
Right.
years earlier. And I never understood that. And then I was like, oh, I'm over 50 now. I get that. I want to spend time with my kids or people have grandchildren, whatever it is. But I will tell you, Dre, that the opportunity, especially on the listing side, for a prime agent, probate and inherited properties, which is my big niche that I work in, seniors, upsizing, downsizing,
Right.
however you want to call it, silver tsunamis, the silver divorce, right? Those are three big ones. Then you've got retirement, depending if you're in the Sunbelt states, you've got the retirement scenarios, right? Arizona, California, Florida, and Nevada, for example. So I think what we're seeing is a little bit of a shift in what agents are focusing on when they get to that late second chapter or third chapter. And it's based on their lifestyle, what's going on in their world. You have the sandwich generation. You have, I have a lot of agent friends taking care of their parents who have Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. There's a lot going on when you start to get into this, especially 50 plus range, right? So yes, we talk about these types of life cycle niches that agents can get into. And then we have these conversations about, well, how can I leverage what I know and do at a brokerage like Real? And Real is so beautifully poised for this chapter of agents because we have retirement rev share, we have rev share, we have the stock program. Now we've got this new opportunity with the Real Wallet. There's a lot of pieces, and I remember talking to Tamir about it. That we know more now about saving and retirement as real estate agents, but most of the companies that we've been with never really focused on it. Whereas Real is all about that. They want us to have a healthy financial situation and they want to help us do it.
It sounds like it's pretty perfectly poised then, where you're providing the resources and the community at the same time, the education of how to work with these types of consumers that are going through like major changes, and a lot of people don't know how
Yeah.
to deal with all these changes.
Yeah.
You spewed off a lot of moments in time that are fairly new to folks that are coming into the industry. Is this group, or would you
Yeah.
consider other people coming in to be able to get the education too, for Prime? So is it are Prime
Yeah.
members only those that are 50 plus, or can you drop in because you have you have a buyer or a seller and you need
Anybody can come in.
investors? Because that might be I mean,
Anybody can
that's
come in.
an
I've
amazing
been
resource,
talking.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody can come into the group. Um, Anybody can join us on the mastermind. And we do, like, for example, today I have a guest who is an agent in Virginia. And he's going to talk about how he has taken all of his experience, and it's really cool experience in the DC area, uh, for his business. And so I personally feel like we all learn from each other. So there's an agent in Miami. I'm going to totally screw up his last name, Darnell. He's starting this young professional network, right? And I reached out to him. I said, hey, why don't we share with each other? I'll post in your group, you post in mine, because we can learn from each other,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Awesome.
that's how it should be.
I love it. This is how you imagined this. I remember back in the day. You're like, we need a bunch of stories. But we didn't have community. I mean, we have so many agents that are giving of themselves and creating masterminds all the time. And yet there wasn't this one central place for them to go. And now community is existing. And so now there's a place for people to find each other, which is great. So how is it going so far?
I
How
love the
has
whole
it been in just
concept.
the last month?
I love the whole concept of community, by the way, which is our new, it's like a hub of great master minds, right?
Exactly.
Through
It
Real
is a hub of
Academy.
mastery.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going well. So we had our first meetup 2 weeks ago. It's twice a month. Or as Terry Repetto likes to say, there's 3 Wednesdays in October. I'm like, thanks, Terry. she's the best. She's like the best. She's, oh no, there's like 5. She's the best. She always keeps me on task. So let's just say twice a month we're doing this. So we're on our second one. The first one, we had over 50 people show up.
Awesome.
And I was floored because I've done a million of Zooms, and you know how that can go. It can be like you have one person show up, or you can get a bunch. And so we have our second one today, and we have quite a few people. And our group is growing. It's in Facebook just because it's easier to manage. So it's in Facebook, and that's why I texted Darnell too, and I said, I am going to plan a very casual pop-up meetup at the Rise conference during the afternoon break on Tuesday. I was looking at all the break times and everything. I'm like, I think we can scooch in maybe a half an hour at the lobby bar kind of thing. Like, I'm all about let's face-to-face. Like, networking is a good thing. Let's get to know each other, even if it's for 30 minutes, so that we've got that going on. So I'm putting that out there too.
So right now in this current market, what would you say the top 3 challenges are with Prime agents?
I would say it's funny because I made a little list today for the group. There's a few things. I think relevance and visibility is huge, because you still have to be comfortable with marketing and branding yourself. Not everybody wants to do video, and that's actually okay. Some of the best agents in the world don't ever do video. They never do social media. So we're making that like no shame in that game. Don't worry about it. Let's figure out how to make you visible, right? Naturally, when you turn 50, it's like a switch goes off and people think you're dead. Literally, they're like, oh yeah, she's 50. She's not like relevant. And it happens. And you do feel it, and so making sure that people feel that they have relevance and visibility. I think in this market, making sure that you're not, like, if you're a solo agent, don't play solo. So if it makes sense, join a team. If that's not your jam, at least get involved, whether it's local or whether it's online on a regular basis. So you're having conversations with other agents. Being solo is a lonely, lonely place to be, and you get too much in your head, right? I think we have a lot of agents who are in this prime who are flying solo personally and also professionally. So they're their solo breadwinner for themselves, or maybe even in their family. So just understanding some of the challenges that are going on out there. And then I think pivoting. So doing what you used to do in real estate doesn't always work now. Now you have to think, and this is always my premise why I'm in probate, and I pivoted in 2012 after the market crash, is finding the niches that have the most motivated sellers. I don't want to work any harder. I'm tired. And I will say that's probably the number one thing you'll hear from agents that are 50 plus, 60 plus, is they're tired. And it's not in a bad way. It's just life, right? You just get a little more tired or whatever. I'm a fan of a power nap. I will power nap at Rise. Trust me. I'm
That's
great at that.
amazing.
But
That
I
was
think
very
being able to
helpful.
pivot is huge. Oh, trust me, I am a power nap queen. So I think in this market is staying in your lane, knowing when to shift and pivot, and figuring out how to stand out from the crowd. How do you do that? You do that by picking a niche in real estate. I'm a huge advocate of that, and a niche that other people are not as interested in. And where does that come in for prime agents? We've been around, we've experienced life, and we've experienced a lot of different things. So you can take that and turn your knowledge. If you've gone through a divorce or you've lost your parents. I lost my parents at 28 and 35. We had to deal with aspects of probate. That was sucky. And yet at 2012, when everything was crumbling down in my personal life, and my best lender called me, she goes, "You need to not work with buyers right now. You need to not work with buyers." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You're cranky." I said, "You're right." I had 3 women around me who kicked my ass and literally said, "Why don't you go work with the selling side?" And I went to a Mike Ferry conference. I'm going to see him next week. And I thank God every day for Mike Ferry. So get some coaching in, prime people. Just because you're this age doesn't mean you don't need to be coached. And I came home and I reinvented my whole business model. And I said, I can do this. I can handle this. I know how to have these conversations. My past experience working with doctors and going through cancer with both my parents, I can do this. So if you find the right niche, you don't have to work yourself to death. And you can add these additional streams of income or whatever else you're working on, and grow. And I do think that that is very important, to take a look at your business and go, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to run around with the buyers 24/7? And I think what
You
you'll hear
reinvent
from
yourself.
most agents in their prime is, I love my buyers, but I need to reinvent myself, and I need to make this a little bit different. So, yeah.
And I do see that agents reinvent themselves. Anybody can reinvent themselves. It's just feeling empowered and having that community around you of support to really take the plunge. And I thank you so much,
I
Michelle.
think so. I mean,
This has been great, talking to you today and hearing all of the nuts and bolts of how to get this prime started, and your whole history has
yeah,
been awesome.
it's prime time. And Dre, you are amazing. And I love your history and background, which I just kind of learned a little bit about. And I was like, oh, that's why we get along so well.
Totally.
You just you have an amazing marketing, vision, and your leadership has been extraordinary for real, because I did come on in 2021. And so we went through some different scenarios, and you've just been a beacon. So thank you.
You bet. I always say I feel lucky to have you guys, because I have a team of now 30,000 agents behind me doing the amazing marketing work too. So I feel so blessed. Well, thank you for your
Yes,
time. And I'm so glad that we got to do this. And I can't wait to see you at Rise.
I
And
am too. I'll see you at Rise.
oh my God, I love it.
Michelle's passion for helping agents find their lane and love what they do is contagious. From branding tips to finding purpose in your next chapter, this episode proves it's never too late to evolve. Thanks to Michele and Dre for an inspiring conversation that celebrates longevity, learning, and leadership. You're listening to Perspectives Unlocked, powered by Real Brokerage.